name is Kadin Heacock, and today I will be presenting a policy change about penetration testing. To start off, I am excited to talk about the change in policy regarding penetration testing. This policy we'll be discussing is in the NIST 853 framework, and I am motivated to address this policy change because it should allow cybersecurity companies to have a quicker, easier, and more effective solution, more cost-effective solution compared to a manual tabletop penetration test. The goal of this project is to ensure the reliability of automated testing to prove that it's not only easier to implement, more cost-effective, and overall quicker, but it is also just as reliable as a manual penetration test. The research question that will be utilized for this project is, will changing cybersecurity policy around the need for automated alert testing increase a security alert's reliability? What I mean by that is there is existing literature to back automated penetration testing is cheaper, faster, and easier to set up. However, the research question of this project looks to answer if automated penetration testing is as reliable as manual testing. If that can be proven, then this would most likely be the way of the future. This policy change for this project is adding the need for automation in the CA TAC 8 policy. And that's why it is a policy change instead of the other option. So, to move forward, the project goals. So, one of the goals is regarding the experiment part of the project. And this is to gather logs from both a manual test and an automated test. We'll then compare those logs and gather the quantitative data from that. The goal is to see if I can make a reliable, see if one of the data is significant for the automated test. Survey to see if the effectiveness in the field. The survey will utilize Likert scales to measure, pretty much get a quantitative measure of the answer provided by the experts in the fields. So the experimental research method is going to be the most vital part of this proposal. The experimental method will give me the quantitative data that I can factually prove these logs that will generate just as much quality logs as a manual test. The survey, utilizing the Likert scale and some other questions to get some context, will be sent to CISOs, SOC analysts, and penetration testers. These individuals are experts in their field. I will pull them from a website known as LinkedIn. I'll pull them from previous colleagues and from SecKC, which is a Kansas City local cybersecurity organization. This looks to conduct a triangulation study by taking these two qualitative research methods and combining them. My concentration is in cybersecurity. This project will be representing cyber by using compliance, test engineering, and utilizing common tools such as Splunk in the cyber field. Penetration testing is a core part of cybersecurity, and thus I'll go ahead and move on into the justification. This will allow companies to regularly test if their detections for their IDS and IPS systems are working. This will have an exponential effect to allow them to continuously, routinely test day in and day out, possibly weekly, monthly, if their alert infrastructure is working. So the more alerts you can come on and the more alerts you can justify that they work, the exponential effect in increasing the cyber organization's security. The project schedule, it'll start off with intel research, where the researcher will gather intel in order to create the survey studies. While the surveys are being made, the researcher will gather the necessary software, set up the devices, and then conduct the project test for the experiment. Once the experiment concludes, data will be collected, and then the surveys will be sent out to collect data out in the field. Once the survey data is collected, the researcher will take the quantitative data from both the experiment and the survey and report on those findings. The resources that will be utilized: the survey is a list of questions that will be sent out to 30 participants in order to grab that quantitative data. And the experiment will utilize two machines: an attacker machine and a defender machine. The defender machine will have Splunk loaded onto it, while the attacker machine will have syntax scripts that the researcher will build on it. And those will be the resources that will be utilized. In conclusion, I'm excited to conduct this policy change and test its capabilities. I'd like to see automated penetration testing become more used and widely used in SOCs. And hopefully we can see if this data will back if it's reliable or not.